Welcome to Odd Autos. This is Custom or Classic. Welcome back to Custom or Classic, where we are continuing with our custom Escort. Thanks for all the votes in the messages on the last video. We're now kind of thinking of going along the lines of between A and B. So A, keeping all the body panels, but B, putting different arches on it than tarmac or forest arches. Maybe a Zaxby kit or just something different than the norm. So first thing on the list is to get the paint off the Escort. We want to see what the metalwork is like.
So what we're going to do on this one is basically mechanical sand the paint off, because we've had the last one soda blasted and sometimes it warps the panels, especially the roof where it's a big sheet. So we're going to mechanically sand it with 40 grit down to the bare metal and see basically what's underneath.
And hopefully the underneath is going to be okay, because I mean the panels look wobbly, but fingers crossed it's going to turn out not as bad as the last one. Yeah. And also on the shower, before we start cutting the bulkhead and the tunnel to fit this massive engine, we want to make sure the body is rock solid. So we're going to go through, see if there's any rust, repair that. And I've found a cage. It's up in North Wales, which is about a 4-hour drive. So I'm going to nip up and get that now while Keith starts the A in the body. Good luck, mate. See you later.
Oh yes, sounds like we got a delivery. Oh, look at that.
That's a drive I don't want to do every day. 8 hours. It's still on there, on the 80-pound...
Trusted beast.
80-pound beast. Right, let's get it off. It's supposed to be a lightened cage. Okay, yep. There it is. I got a WRC spec T45 cage. T45 means it's lighter, apparently, so hopefully...
Lighter?
Yeah, it feels heavy. Hang on, while I was at Motorsport.
I wouldn't want a heavy one. Oh.
I got us a bias pedal box, a strengthener kit for the body, a gusset kit, and hydraulic handbrake for a bit of like that. That'll be good. So I've done my job. How have you got on with that shower?
You better come and have a look, mate. It's not good. Not good at all.
Is it that bad?
Yeah.
So Keith's just informed me it took him 4 hours to get the paint off the roof. And we're having a look, and there's 6 layers of paint of different colours and primer on this roof. And then going into the doors and the quarter, we had a quick test patch. We've got a world record of 14 layers of paint. That's got to be why, instead of having nice crisp swage lines, it kind of like bleh down the door, you know. And if you have a look from a wider shot, you can just see it's all like that all the way down. I think instead of time-lapsing this, we're just going to cut to it being done. The wings already got signs of filler and rust in, so we'll probably get new wings now. We're going to check the doors because there's a big bubble here. And looking on the inside door is about 1 inch further back than what this is here. So I reckon we got a good inch on that as well. So yeah, it's going to take us a couple of days, I reckon, to get all this paint off. So instead of time-lapsing it, we'll cut to it all being off, which will be like this. And what a week that was. I'm sure at the start I always said that this was going to be as bad, if not worse, than the red Escort. So even though the rust is not as bad as the last one, but anyway, it's took us a week to get to this point, and what I'll do is I'll start at the front and work the way back and tell you what needs doing on this shower. So on the front, this was a first for me. the front panel was actually only fiberglassed on. So where they've changed it in the past, they've drilled all the holes out to get the old one off, but then they just pushed it on and fiberglassed it. So literally gave it a tug and it fell off. And also down the bottom here, we've got this kind of like paper mache type of stuff, which is always good. So obviously we'll replace this. Under the engine bay, the only thing we could see was the heater bowl, but because of this engine, I don't think we're going to use the standard heater. So we might just plate over that and do like kind of a smoothed engine bay look. But we'll see for that in the future. Right, on to the middle bit. So it's had a big hit on this side at some point in its life. This sill actually curves in towards the inside of the car by about an inch. There was probably 3/4 of an inch to an inch of filler all the way down here under the sill, and these arches are just terrible, so they're going to all want cutting off. And on the door we've got this amazing traffic light system of where we've got the original colour, then red, then green, then a couple of coats of blue. Also, we got a good 1/2 inch thick of filler down there, and on this side where it's had that big hit. The wing was the same, had a hole in the front and just full of filler, so we're just going to change that. On the plus side, the bulkhead is amazing. It's cleaned up real well, and so is this inner door panel. So let's move on to the rear. So on the rear, we've cut off this rear panel that had the rubbish mesh down it. Also, it had a lot of filler in it as well, so that's got to go. The boot floor is mint in where the spare wheel well is. That is the only place we've got to repair on that. Apart from that and this rear panel, it's all good back here. So I mean, overall, it's only the outer panels that are pretty bad. The bulkhead, the floor, the boot floor and the chassis rails are good, which is a good start really. So Keith's going to get on with welding the back panel on and that seal, while I start having a go at tackling this engine. Right, I'll leave him to it.
So what we've done at the moment is cut out the rear panel and welded in a new one of those, a better quality one, which is a much better fit. Cut out the sill, so that's done, welded in a new one. So the next thing now is, obviously I've started to clean the engine bay. Then we're coming around to doing the front panels, and we've just noticed that there is some rot on the chassis leg and on the inner wing. So we think that the front end's had a bit of a tap because this chassis leg is cracked all the way round. So also what we found is the inner front panel is not connected to the slam panel. Right, so whilst Paul sorts out the engine, I'm going to start cutting out this panel here, and then we'll make a new one and weld it in.
So while Keith's welding that patch on, I will say that's all we got time for, unfortunately, for this video. Hopefully, I'm trying to find somebody to film the videos and to do the editing, because it just takes me too long. And I'm sort of okay at it, but not perfect. So doing one video every 2 months is not good enough. We need to try and get it down to one video every 2 weeks, because I feel that you're just missing out on so much of a build. In the next video, we've got our adapter plate, which is good. So we will be getting the gearbox onto the engine and hopefully getting it into the car, which will be brilliant. So that's it for now. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, it helps me out loads. And from me, I'll say, see you again.